we heard of this terrible news, and we were all in a state of shock, because when children go on a camp, we expect them to make friendship, to develop a bond, so that when they come back to school to learn, they are not strangers to each other in an academic environment. So, like all children, we had expected that Enoch will come back.
Yes.
And that is what we wanted, because the school should take full responsibility for every single child who undergoes such trips. And we still don't get proper answers from the school. We still don't get proper answers from the MEC. We're happy that the MEC was there.
Yes.
But public relations is not enough. Because when the kids go on a camp, it's a simple procedure. When they come back, there should be a head count and a roll call. And Enoch's missing should have been identified with immediate effect. And there's no clarity as to why it took so long, why it even took a child to identify that a friend is missing. So meaning both the adults at the resort and the school have neglected those children, and therefore someone should take full responsibility. So when we saw the Human Rights Commission intervene, we were happy. But when they started playing tricks, questioning the Human Rights Commission's responsibility in the whole affairs, then we knew that they are up to something. Because now the story is, what is the Human Rights Commission doing in the whole matter? Where do they come in? So it means the role of the Human Rights Commission is going to be debated before we even get into the real issues. And as a result, we in the EFF have taken a decision to assemble a legal team, which is yours. It's not the Human Rights Commission. No one can ask any question about it. The Ian, Advocate Mpianzi, and Advocate Senior Counsel Lawrence Hodes are on standby, willing to intervene as family lawyers. And you don't have to pay anything for that. They volunteered themselves and said, we want to help. The Human Rights Commission can be there. They've got all the right to be there. But the family has to have its own lawyers, which you can give instructions and there won't be any form of restrictions or anyone questioning them as to, hey, this is our taxpayers' money, what are these ones doing, and all of that. So these lawyers, the family, uncle, the father, can do your own independent investigations about them. They are the top lawyers in South Africa. Lawrence Hodes in crime, and Mugai Toby, very strong in constitutional law. So we want to bring all elements together to make sure that this young man doesn't die in vain, because it's not the last one. He will not be the last one, because if we don't attend to it, they will continue to neglect our children.
Yes.
So personally, when I heard of it, I'm a father of 3 boys. One of them was in a camp. I was extremely scared because we are not there. We don't know. We think we have left them in the hands of capable people, but only to find out that at some point our children were on their own. We will also in the legislature, in parliament, make sure that we hold the Department of Education accountable, and the school in particular should be held accountable, because that school's reputation is degenerating extremely, and therefore it means there is something wrong in that particular school. Year in, year out, there is a story about that particular school, and therefore we have a responsibility to make sure that we restore that school to its former glory, where everybody can be proud. And we can only do that if someone takes full responsibility. The heads must roll. Someone should be held accountable, and that's what we are here to make sure. We are here to give you the support. We are not here to do anything. We will hear from you. You are not going to hear from us. You will tell us where do you need support. And we are not party in government. We are an opposition. Therefore, we have no business in covering up anything. We are in the business of exposing any shenanigans and anyone who wants to cover up anything. So we want to push this matter and make sure that we get to the bottom of it. What is even more interesting for us is that you are an African family in this country where people think that you can't get some form of an assistance, and they want to treat you as foreigners in your own country, South Africa, in Africa. And we want to assure you that you will enjoy all the rights that are enjoyed by everybody in this country, and therefore no one is going to take advantage of you and think that they can just overlook this matter. It will die a natural death and we continue with our own lives. We're not going to allow that. We've lost the future of this family, the future of this country, the future of our continent, and therefore we must make sure that he becomes the last person to be lost in a manner we lost. The funeral arrangement, Uncle, you've got the contact of our representative. If anything you need us to help with, don't hesitate. We are here to make sure that the young man gets a dignified send-off. We will not bring him back. The least we can do is to give him a dignified send-off and make sure that justice is done. And we are here to assure you that South Africans are fully behind you. And in this case, black and white, all of South Africans have now come together and said a nonsense like this should never be tolerated by any of us, irrespective of political affiliation, color, religion, or any other matter. We must all unite and make sure we put a stop to this form of negligence, which the school will still have to account. We thank you, Uncle, for being strong, and the family, and for making sure that you follow up this matter and it doesn't die a natural death. We are here to make sure that indeed justice is served. Any form of preparations, we're happy that you have now managed to take the body into a closer place, and you've got service providers who will take care of other arrangements. The rest of other things we may not want to talk about them here. Our representatives are here. Feel free to talk to them. Anything will be able to provide you with that type of an assistance. And I want to thank the Human Rights Commission for zooming in swiftly into the space and making sure that this matter receives the attention it deserves. We also thank the MEC for being there, for making sure that indeed the country is informed of what are the developments. Very few authorities respond in a manner he did. They might have their own witnesses, but the MEC acted responsibly, and we want to celebrate him for that, for being there with the family, for making sure that indeed attention is paid to detail. And we think many of his colleagues can learn from him. Many institutions can learn from the Human Rights Commission that when we've got matters of this nature, we shouldn't be dragged by red tapes and long procedures. We should move in swiftly and make sure we attend to matters as they are still fresh and they still receive the necessary attention. So we are happy that MEC and the Human Rights Commission did not wait for public to put pressure and the media to put pressure before they respond to the situation. So we really appreciate, and we say to the family, thank you for receiving us. Yesterday we realized even ourselves that your activities are hectic, and that's why we understood when they said we can only come today. And even what happened there, closing the gates and treating you the manner they did, we are really sorry, because when people are mourning, we give them a particular respect. You don't treat them in a manner you were treated and be referred to lawyers and all those type of things. When people are mourning, certain procedures we put them aside to allow them to grieve their own the best they know how. But when you close gates and talk of procedures of lawyers and letters and all that, you are worsening their pain. But we come from different cultures. Others may not know how we as Africans mourn each other.
Yes.
We really apologize on their behalf. That's not how we treat the mourning families in our country, in our continent. We know how we treat each other, especially the family that is really mourning. So when the mother had to be forcing gates and jumping gates and carrying her over the fences, the owners of that resort should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And all their friends and relatives should be embarrassed on their behalf. Once you hear the mother of the child who died in your properties at the gate, you do everything in your power to ease their pain.
Yes.
But there are certain people who have just turned into animals, and we're happy that they keep on exposing themselves for who they are. They don't have that spirit of Ubuntu, and they don't have that spirit of solidarity with those who are bereaved. So we really are sorry, but we are happy that the Human Rights Commission was there struggling with you and making sure that that which you wanted to achieve yesterday is achieved, because it's part of the healing process. It might not be yesterday only. You may want to go back again,
Yeah.
in seeking answers, and the owners should understand that as in when the mother will be sleeping here and she's like, but there's some corner there which doesn't make sense, I want to go back there and see how this happened. They should be allowed. It's part of a healing process.
Yes.
When you stop them, you are perpetuating their pain. And we are really calling upon the authorities and the lawyers of those owners of the property and the school, the management, to understand that you are going through this difficult period and you must be allowed to mourn and heal properly. And we will also be making contact with the owners, just to make them understand that you are not there to cause any fights or anything. You are there to seek for answers. When Uncle says we wanted to walk for 8 kilometers where they walked, it's not a walk, it's looking for solutions. Maybe I could see something that looks familiar, and as a result there will be an answer there. Sometimes we even go to collect spirits as Africans.
Yes.
There are rituals we perform where a person died.
Yes.
So we must be allowed to do that because it's part of healing in our own cultures. And we understand that these ones who come from different cultures should give themselves an opportunity to learn our cultures and to allow us to practice our cultures as part of healing, because we are not animals. We are human beings and we are accommodative of all different cultures. So, Mama, And Papa, please receive our condolences. You are not alone. We are here with you. We'll find answers together, and we'll bury this young man together in a dignified way, which you as the family shall lead, and will always be happy after the burial. Our support to the family does not in any way put any condition or impose ourselves into this family. We are genuinely here to support you, and we are not in front, we are just behind. You can't say we are behind you and then the next thing you find us in front of you. We are behind anything you want. There's nothing called protocol when you mourn your own. There's no nonsense called protocol. You do your things the way you want to do them. No one should come here and tell you about some unreasonable protocols wanting to hijack this funeral. The protocol we are all going to follow is the family's protocol, no one's protocol. You are leading, you are giving us guidance, and we are here to support you. You are not here to support us. It's not our child, it's your child in the immediate, and therefore we should be able to allow you to lead this and bury him in a manner that you will be satisfied as parents, as friends, as relatives. Thank you very much.